And so let's do just a couple of vocal warm-ups, and if you guys could all mute yourselves, because that didn't work so well last time. Let's just do mi, me, ma, mo, mu, and. Sing, oh, that one, ready, and. Okay, good. You know, it's really weird to play for church, for Zoom church. It's weird to play hymns and not hear anybody singing. But I just discovered just now it's even weirder to play warm-up exercises and not hear anybody. Um, but it was just such a mess last time with all that jumble of sound. So let's look at Be Thou My Vision. We're on our second virtual anthem now. And I think most of us are pretty familiar with this. I'm just going to run through it quickly and give you a couple of things to look out for on your videos. The first thing is, you know, now that we've done one virtual anthem, we're experts. I want you to be careful when you're turning pages. Because there was a lot of page turn noise that I had to filter out of the videos. And this anthem in particular, you know, we have this long piano introduction, the entire first page. And even, I don't know if you remember, even when we do it live together in church, I tell you, don't even look at the first page. Go ahead and turn to the second page because I don't want to break the spell turning when you start singing. So when you do your recording, make sure you're already set on page 2, okay? And the other thing I noticed is how I always have you on long notes to a crescendo diminuendo. And you do that wonderfully. On Deep River, it was having everybody do that, it was almost overwhelming the amount of volume that we got on that. So I had to dial that down a little bit. So just a little bit less than you would ordinarily do with the full choir. We also have a lot of T's in this one. Long notes that end in T, heart, art, night, light. Make sure you're placing them in exactly the right spot and just a tiny amount of consonant. It doesn't have to be really super clear diction like we're used to doing in person. So here is the top of page 2. And let me go back to measure 35. Sopranos and tenors have the melody. Here's the alto and bass part. And then on waking, altos and basses switch to the melody, and here's the soprano and tenor part. me stop here before I forget. And feel free to unmute and jump in with a question if you have a question or if you want to hear something again. On, where was it, where the altos get the melody? On page 3, letter B on page 3. The melody is in the altos, so altos can sing out. Sopranos a little bit softer. Yeah, I've got, that's right, you've got my music. So it's mezzo piano for sopranos, mezzo forte for altos. And then on page 5, letter D on page 5, the basses have the melody. So tenors can be a little softer, basses a nice big sound there. And tenors finally get the melody on the top of 6, thou and thou only. Okay. So here is back where we left off on page 7, letter F. F is in Frank. Stop there. That measure 106, second measure at the bottom of this page on light, the T, be really careful of that T because it's on the and of 3. You see how the tenors are moving ba da da, so they can't put the T on until after beat 3, so really be careful. That's going to be a really tricky one. T on the and of 3. When the sopranos and altos are in 3 parts, remember, it's just Stephanie on the middle part. Let me do, let's go back to letter F, and I'll just do the sopranos and altos, and I'll leave out the middle part. So this is only the top and bottom. Similar after that. Here is tenors and basses back at letter F on page 7, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, so here's everything together from letter F, same spot. 2, 3. Right here, this is 134. We're adding a beat. This is going to be a 4/4 measure, and we're adding a quarter rest on beat 3. So this is going to be own heart, whatever. So the T of heart comes on beat 3. Let's go back one more measure. This is 133, heart of my own heart, and I'll just do the soprano and alto here. And okay, same spot. This is tenor and bass. And And here, tenors, let's cross out the E flat on heart and just do the C. Own heart, whatever. Here's heart of my own heart. All right, and just to clarify there, this is tenors. Whatever be, 1, 2, fall, and then you just hold the B flat. Basses, whatever be, 1, 2, 3, fall. Right? Two things about this ending. Back at measure 134, when we come in on beat 4, right after that rest, make sure that we come in forte. It's weird because sopranos especially and tenors have been so high, and then we go low and we lose a lot of energy, a lot of volume. So we need to make sure that we still are loud there on whatever, so we can have room to diminuendo. And then at the end, when you're holding that, if you look at the piano part on the bottom, there's nothing in the piano part in the very last measure. So she wants just the voices holding. You're going to hear, when you sing along to the accompaniment, you're going to hear the piano drop out. I want you to resist the urge to stop singing. There's a video of your wonderful conductor, and he's holding you here like this, and he'll cut you off. Okay? He's very clear. What else can I tell you about this? I think that's it. Anybody have any questions? We can sing through the whole thing. Okay. Stand up.
I just want that this is one of my favorite things to sing with everybody.
And Gwyneth is very excited too. She knows we're doing this. She's looking forward to it. So I'll give you the whole first page. Go ahead and turn to page 2. questions? Um, just a reminder about timing. Section leaders are going to be recording their videos this weekend, and I need those by Monday, this coming Monday at noon. And then I will put together a rough mix of their parts along with the piano, and I will send out that to everybody else. And I need everybody else's videos by the following Monday, the 19th at noon. And then this will be the anthem for the 25th of October during the worship service that morning. And I just wanted to check in with you guys and just see if you see if you enjoyed the first go round. I think you did. You looked like you did, and it sounded. I mean, I was I was pretty impressed that we did such a good job. I had no idea that we would actually be able to do it, and we were. Um, and I guess my question is, we've got four of these planned through Christmas, um, and even if the church goes back to in-person worship sometime after the first of the year, the choir is not. Um, so we're going to be virtual for a while. So my question is a two-part question. Are you willing to keep doing this, keep doing virtual anthems starting in January? And part two, does this does this time frame, doing it every month, does that feel comfortable? Does that feel doable? Or do we want to try doing one every 3 weeks? Um, I mean, I thought about every 2 weeks, but I don't think I could do that. Um, and I'm just wondering about 3 weeks because like last Thursday I was sitting around. Oh, I wish we had choir tonight. I'd like to start a new one. Um, but let me know what you guys think about that. And
I
that's
say yes, and 3 weeks is fine.
okay.
I would
Fine
say
with me.
That's fine. I'm fine. Yes, that's fine.
the only sort of question I have is there a way to weight it so that the recording is due a little bit farther away from the rehearsal? If not, it's okay. But like if you're going away for the weekend or something like that,
Sure.
we rehearse and then it's like due Monday morning. So I mean it's cool. I'll find I'll find time, but I just wondered if maybe
Yes,
there
I
was
think
any
so.
stretch in that timing.
I think so. My original reason for that was because I didn't know how much time I was going to be spending with editing. Because I had seen all these horror stories with, oh my God, I spent 1,000 hours on this one. It's 3 minutes long, and it actually is not that bad. Um, I don't know if it's just me or what, but I'm really enjoying doing this, and it's
I was going to ask you,
pretty.
how was it for you doing that?
I really enjoy it. I mean, I'm just a detail-oriented person anyway, and I enjoy working by myself. So I'm just sitting here on my laptop making, the tiniest little nudges to each part, and and I really enjoyed that. So yes, so we could say like the Wednesday, we rehearse on a Thursday, and maybe section leaders have until the next Wednesday,
Or
uh,
even like Monday night.
or Monday night would be easy.
Okay.
But
Does
yeah,
that sound cool?
yeah, we can stretch it a little bit that way.
Cool. Just sort of as a general.
Yeah.
Yeah, yay.
Thanks.
And of course, this is all, I mean, I'm thinking about this because we're in the process of making the budget for next year. And, or at least October is the time that we usually do that. I'm not sure if they're actually doing it yet. But it's got to be very complicated for making a budget for next year. So I was wanting to gauge you guys, and so I could say, well, I'd like to do an anthem every 3 weeks, and this is what kind of budget I would need for that. Um, so yay, thank you guys. We'll aim for after in January. We'll aim for something every 3 weeks, and fingers crossed that it gets approved.
I will say, I just wanted to say that when we all started singing on, or the video started singing, because we weren't singing live, but on whatever that 2 Sundays ago, or whatever it was now, I immediately burst into tears, like full sobbing, just like, it was so nice to be like singing with people again. It just
Yeah.
was, made me so emotional. So thank you so much, David, for your work putting it all together and making it possible for us to do this, whether it's 3 weeks or once a month or whatever it ends up being after Christmas, but it just was, it meant so much. So thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome. It's my pleasure.
you did a great job.
That was,
I had to do takes just because I cried I cried just with, David conducting me.
Glad I'm not alone.
I cried while I was doing my part because it was so painful.
on.
And I had to keep looking at myself, which is really, I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, that's the hardest part.
All for the team.
Just don't ever listen to yourself. Just the one voice. Don't ever do that.
So did you say that Chris and Jack moved to Florida?
No, I'm sorry. Elysian, there's a family that was a member of Edwards, and the daughter is in high school, Elysian, and she sang with us for a while. I can't even keep track of time anymore. I think it was back in the spring, last fall and last spring. And that family moved to Florida. And Chris and Jack told me that she was interested in continuing to sing with us. So I was hoping I might see her tonight. I was hoping I'd see Chris and Jack too. But we are recording, so if anybody misses, then they can always watch the rehearsal on video.
Yeah, that's really great how that works. I thought, I was going to have to do a screen recording and download it. It's because I teach remotely, and some of my students said, "Oh, can you record the Zoom sessions for your office hours?" I'm like, no, that's going to take me all this time, and it really isn't. You just hit a button and that's it.
Yep. And that'll be on the church website. The practice recordings page of the website has everything you need for this go around, including the link for where to upload things. Well, feel free to unmute and visit. That's all the rehearsing we have for tonight.
well, I was going to add in after Ella's comment that I knew that Sunday very well because it was my birthday. So it started out with us and then continued very musically with a outdoor recorded trio concert up in Vermont, which was also lovely.
Nice.
Great. That sounds like such a nice way to spend a birthday.
Yeah, I was a little hesitant to going, the whole day by myself, but ended up being fine. It was very beautiful drive up, and somebody recognized me from sword dancing while I was there, and so that was kind of cool. And
John, does that mean that your birthday is the 27th?
Of September, yeah.
That's also my brother's birthday. I was just doing the math in my head. So happy, you're in good company. And one of my best friends from college, actually. It's a lot of good people born on that day.
Oh.
There you go. Thank you.
Someone recognized you from sword dancing. That's an interesting sentence.
Well, he's on Still River Sword, and which is out towards eastern Massachusetts, and I was on that Long Tall Sword, which now defunct. It was a very active team for many decades, but it is no more, or is an indefinite pause. You can, and granted, this with the pandemic, social distancing, you couldn't do it. It's like so I started dancing with some of the same folk doing Morris dancing, which we can do by just staying far apart and not actually crisscrossing and doing real haze. You do a hay, you just do a little figure eight in your little circle, your little space. But yeah.
Cool.
Traditional dance from way back England.
I saw you perform a long time ago because I used to have friends who were Morris dancers. And I saw you guys at a couple of festivals together. I like the name. And I like the dancing too, of course.
Now,
I
did you
think about 90% of the Juggler Meadow Morris men live in Shutesbury. So I knew a lot of that group. It was
Yeah,
it's
actually,
thing there.
I am borrowing the bells from a former Juggler Meadow. You probably know Cindy Naughton, but George Naughton used to be on Juggler until his knees went bad. And I figured, well, can I borrow your bell? Because I didn't know if I was really going to continue doing Morris dancing or not. It really wasn't my thing, but the company's great and I'm learning to like the dance. So, yeah.
You guys, if you zoom in for church on Sunday, we're celebrating National Coming Out Day, and so I'm playing a nice piano arrangement of True Colors, and my arrangement of Over the Rainbow for prelude and postlude. And Peter has the solo on Sunday, and he's singing this gorgeous arrangement. It's a setting of I Carry Your Heart, the E. E. Cummings poem.
Oh,
And it's a setting by John Duke, who was a composition professor at Smith. And you talk about crying when you first hear something. When I first put Peter's vocal and the piano together, it's just stunningly beautiful.
that sounds
Yeah,
wonderful.
it's a gorgeous piece.
Yeah.
Oh, it really is.
Yeah.
And I never thought I would find, I've been familiar with that poem since college. I never thought I would find a setting that, really did it justice. I did a choral setting in college that was, okay. But yeah, this one really hits the nail.
This one does it justice. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
That'll be something good to look forward to for Sunday. This is a good little preview, get like a little sneak peek.
Tell me the name of the poem again.
I carry your heart with me. I carry it in my heart.
It's a beautiful poem.
Yeah, it really is. Gwyneth Walker, I've done, she has a set of E. E. Cummings settings, but not I Carry Your Heart, but some other ones that are just really lovely. Check them out sometime.
Yeah.
So everybody's doing okay? You're all hanging in there?
Yeah.
Slowly
So-
getting the hang of like online teaching. It's like the chaos seems to be getting easier. Which is good. I don't know if you feel that way, Mary, but you're like slowly figuring out how to do stuff, which has been good.
I still have to remind myself what day it is.
Yes.
Like, wait, hey,
Mm.
it's Tuesday. I teach at 8:15. Wait, no, it's Wednesday. And I had opened up my Zoom session for my Wednesday class, and I had to turn around and ask Dave, and my students all heard me. I'm like, today is Wednesday, right? And David's like somewhere behind me saying, yes, still.
Third time you asked me.
I know, because I just
Mm. After practice, Morris dancing practice Tuesday night, we gathered around, again, distanced, a fire, and got the two visitors to the practice were elementary school music teachers, I believe, based on the very extended conversation we got to overhear. They were talking to each other from across the fire about what songs and what things they do and which ones will the fifth graders actually participate in. And yeah,
That sounds about right.
it's got to be a lot of work for you all that are teaching
yeah.
remote.
So Amherst is staying remote then, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many cases in Amherst that we've exceeded the threshold that the district and the union had agreed upon to go back to school. So we were supposed to have some students back in school starting last week, and they won't be back until the 15th at the earliest. And that's like if case counts go down, which I don't know whether or not they will. So that's sort of our best case scenario, is that we're just delayed by 2 weeks, but we'll see what ends up actually happening. I have a feeling it's gonna be longer than
Any
that.
idea as to why Amherst?
All UMass cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna
There were-
guess that.
Yeah, there were something like 51 or something new cases last week. Can't remember the exact count, but it was a lot.
No.
It's
Surprise.
Really, it's really a lot. It's not a safe place as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
UMass.
yeah, it's
Well,
been,
In the best of times, university campuses, college campuses are like petri dishes, right? They're just
Yeah.
like in the very best of times. So not a happy place.
Yeah. How are things down at Brown?
They're pretty good. You know, I'm not part of the academics. They made an interesting decision. No freshmen are, which I think is really smart. So only people who've been on campus before, and there are pods. There's students living in little pods, and it's so far it's okay. I think we were only 2 weeks in to having, like, we're at full capacity, whatever that is, which isn't full, but that's what what was agreed upon. So we'll see.
RISD has a lot of students on campus though. Do
Wow.
they have all?
I don't know. I don't follow what
You know,
Chris
art,
says.
I mean,
Gotta be in person, pretty much.
Yeah, you need access to materials if you're doing graphic arts. Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter started teaching at Smith Folk, and so those kids have to go to school, really. So they're in school. The core classes like English and history and math, they don't. They do at home, but for
Top classes.
for shop and cosmetology and cooking, et cetera, they have to be there.
Hmm.
So they're there half the day, 4 days a week. She's there too.
Is she teaching English or?
She's teaching English as a second language and English, right?
Terry, are you doing telemedicine or are you going into the office?
We're pretty much all office now. I'm at home on Mondays. Just we're trying to spread out how many providers are in clinic at one time, and Monday's pretty busy. But the other 4 days, I'm in clinic, and then patients are given the option to either come in or do a televisit. And I would say at this point, like 95% of people want to come in. I just feel like everyone is just hungry to see people. So it's almost business as usual. It's kind of interesting, but Huntington and Worthington are extremely low case counts, so I think everyone feels pretty safe coming into the clinic, thankfully. But yeah, like Northampton High just called this morning, and I guess Holyoke's cases went up too, and so
Yeah.
they suspended all in-person things at Northampton High, because they were doing some things in person. I don't know if it was just for students that needed help or whatever, but that's all been completely suspended again. So I think cases are going up in a lot of places, it sounds like.
Yeah, I checked the hotspot map today. I check it like once a week just to keep an eye on things. And I saw that Holyoke was in the red again, and I'm not sure what might be driving that. If it's nursing homes, maybe.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Amherst is in the red also.
yeah.
Hmm.
But like that's been in the paper,
Yeah,
that they keep finding more students who were infected via that, that one cluster.
yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, if you have 100 cases in a town that has 30,000 people,
It's gonna drive your numbers up.
very high rate.
That's a lot.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's been a.
Yeah, my wife and I retired at the right time from UMass.
Really? Yeah. It's been interesting though, because for most students, most high school students anyway, I feel like they have adapted much more easily to being online than their teachers. Like it seems like most of the students I interact with are like, this is going fine. Like they have all the same complaints. They were like, oh, my back hurts because I sit too much and not like getting up enough or whatever. But like, the classes themselves are going great. And then the teachers are the ones who are like, ah, this
My
is
son-
terrible.
My son-in-law, you know, he teaches at JFK. He says it's really hard to keep everybody's attention.
Yeah.
And not 15 minutes goes by that somebody doesn't have a technology problem. It sounds like a nightmare to me
Yeah.
on both sides, but I think you're right. I think the kids are probably okay with it, but that
I
sounds
think
really
just a
hard for
little-
teachers, so.
They're better at, I think, rolling with the punches of when technology fails them. They're just like, okay, I'll try something else. Like that didn't work. Let's
Yeah.
do something that as teachers are like, I don't know what to do.
They don't remember those phones that always worked, you know, the big light ones, the big black ones. They don't know, they don't remember those things.
We had a
I went
power
through the
outage
cranks.
last night.
You
So
did?
after we
You had it out
like,
there?
we had no Zoom at all. It was
Yeah.
a rough day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eastern Mass, there are a lot of school districts that still didn't have power this morning, so they basically had to call in a 2020 version of a snow day.
Yeah, it felt like a snow day.
Yeah, we had in Amherst, there's Pelham still doesn't have power as of tonight. They didn't have power. They maybe it's on now, but it wasn't on at 7. And so we basically decided to just give we tried to do as much work as possible, like to redesign your classes for the day to be like completable later. So they're like asynchronous things you could do, you know, for Monday next week or whatever. And just for the kids who were there, they could do it today. And if they weren't there, they could do it later. Because there were so many kids who didn't have power. A lot of kids in South Amherst don't have power still. So
I don't know how teachers are doing both in person,
God.
remote. I mean, I'd lose my mind.
Yeah. My friend Luke is doing it in Eastern Mass, and he says it's just brutal. It's just like impossible.
Yeah. I mean, you're working 2 jobs then,
Yeah.
2 full jobs.
Yeah, he's a librarian. He doesn't even have like a full course load. He just has 5th graders for 1 period a day. He was like, and it's just like, even that is so unmanageable. It's like, I can't imagine if you had a full course load.
Yeah. I
Oh,
have students
Ella,
who are, go ahead.
how's your new house doing?
It's doing okay, minus the very large trees down in the backyard currently.
Oh.
My dad's gonna come over on Monday with his chainsaw, and hopefully we can.
At least it didn't hit
make
the
it right.
house.
It didn't hit the house, and it came very close, like they are on top of the bulkhead. So it came straight. They're maybe 6 inches away from the house. But the house is good. I finally have a washer and dryer, which is thrilling because I've been going to Shutesbury once a week to do my laundry at my parents' house, and I was.
And who's that little short door for behind you? Is that for a really short person?
That's for my best friend. She said that's gonna be her room. She's gonna put a little doggy bed on the ground. It's where I'm keeping all my Christmas ornaments at the moment.
That's where she hides the bodies.
Where I hide the bodies. I have there's one in this room and also one in my bedroom, those little half doors, and they're very funny, but they do fit quite a bit. It goes back like all the way under the eaves.
Yeah.
It goes back about
You
6
can
feet.
see the roof going down.
Yeah.
Use every bit of space.
Yeah, it's kind of great. I mean, I don't have enough stuff to put in storage to use all the storage space in this house. I have at least 1 empty closet, and then I have a whole garage I'm not using and a whole basement I'm not using.
Check back in a year, see how
Yes,
that.
I know. I will find things to put in them. But yeah, you'll all have to come over for a socially distant backyard hang sometime because I have a very large backyard. It's very appropriate for having people over in this pandemic. So
How far away outdoors do you have to be able to sing together? Do you have to be?
It's a tough one.
I don't know.
Yeah. Some people have said 20, 25 feet and wearing a mask.
yeah.
Yeah.
I bought a
All
singer's
depends on
mask.
which way the wind is blowing.
I just bought a singer's mask. It makes me look like some sort of a dachshund.
Oh, you're right, Steph, because
Yeah.
Terry bought one because she teaches a lot. The thing is like huge.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Here, you want? I'll go get it. I'll give you guys a show and
yeah,
tell.
yeah,
I wanna
it's
see that.
interesting.
A
It's
singer's
huge.
mask?
Yeah, it made Terry look like Darth Vader.
I see. So it's away from your face.
Yeah,
So
it's away from your
Yeah.
face. Yep, exactly.
your voice
Right.
can be heard. Oh, I
I'm
can't
sure it's
wait.
the
I got
same
the
one.
concert black.
Yeah,
But
that's
I
what she
did
got.
have to hack it already because it was too big for my little
Yeah,
face.
check it out. It's
So
big.
I put a tuck in the bottom. But
Let's
Check
see.
this
you'll
out.
see if I turn sideways,
See?
Woo!
it's got this
Yep.
lovely snout.
Let's
feature.
hear you sing.
Wow,
That's great.
Let's hear you sing with it.
that's impressive.
Beautiful, huh? Everybody's gonna be wearing them soon.
There's something kind of fashionable about it. I mean, I would wear that out on the street. Like,
I can't hear you guys.
what?
Oh, you're not putting headphones.
Oh, jeez. I'm like, I can't hear any of them.
I'm so excited about your singer's mask stuff. It's okay. Okay.
I kept
Turn
asking
it up.
your mask. You didn't hear me.
Oh, wait, say it again.
I said I kept asking you to sing with your mask on. But you
Oh,
didn't. So you can do it next.
yeah,
Definitely muffled.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I still
But
don't think it's.
Maybe if you put the mic underneath the mask,
Oh,
that might work.
that would work.
Oh.
Where'd Stephanie go?
Where'd the mic go?
There is no mic.
I can't see her and I can't hear her.
I know, right? She's gone.
I could wear it this way like a hat.
There you
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
I did see someone wearing one of those masks with the clear mouth part. No, it was amazingly easier to understand her. Being able
Oh,
to
yeah.
see the mouth.
Is coming up. That's a good one.
Yeah, when I was doing the census work, I one time was interviewing a woman who was deaf, and she was saying how much, because she reads lips, and she was having trouble, getting to read lips. So they were using those at like her, I don't know, group or doctor or whatever, so that they could still read lips.
And I think we all rely on that, more than we even realize until you suddenly can't
Yes.
see someone's
Yeah.
lips moving.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
people with mustaches and beards, it doesn't make that much difference.
Oh, really?
Actually, I have a funny story about Peter, because I was editing his solo for Sunday, and I remembered on Deep River looking at the final product and looking at Peter's tiny square and thinking, "Oh my God, I didn't get him quite in sync," and then the same thing was happening when I was editing his solo for this Sunday, and I mean, I knew that the audio was perfectly in sync and the audio was locked to the video, and I finally figured out it's the mustache, that Peter's mustache comes down just below your top lip, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm relying on to sync things up. But
I should trim. I've been lazy in COVID time.
You could just gel it back, kind of.
Yeah.
And your mustache is a little bit of a problem too, Stephanie. I can't really understand what you're saying.
Jeez.
I found this in my box of computer cords, and so
Oh,
why not?
of course you did.
You can actually do that on Zoom now. You can add things to your face.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It's on the stop video button at the bottom left.
Uh-huh.
If you have the Zoom app, if you go to choose virtual background, it's an option in that screen to put, if you can put a flower in your hair or something.
Somebody's video is stopping.
I think I must need to update because I don't.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah.
Or maybe you need to have.
Oh, okay.
Is it filter?
It says video filters right
Yeah.
next to virtual backgrounds.
Yeah, maybe it's a newer feature.
It's probably a new update. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have the update yet.
I only have touch up my appearance in it.
Yeah. There's
I like David.
I'm touched up.
There you go.
I'm untouched.
Whoa, how do you do that?
He'll show you, Mary. Don't worry.
What even happened? Oh, David's wearing.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the mustache. There we go.
But you should conduct us.
There you go. There's the mustache.
their shades on.
And the mustache.
Oh yeah, I could shave my mustache
Oh,
off and still have one
nice.
online.
C'est bon. Très chic.
Oh, God.
Uh,
I can't wait to see the next virtual choir.
I
I was gonna say, can we wear silly hats for the next virtual choir?
Didn't Connolly ask for that last time?
Yeah.
She's a
Oh,
trendsetter.
I meant to tell you guys, nobody for Deep River, nobody sang multiple parts. And you're certainly welcome if you want to record both soprano and alto or both tenor and bass. That's perfectly
Oh yeah.
fine.
I was going to ask you if you wanted like me to go up to the tenor line when they have the tune.
No, I think we'll be fine because
Okay.
we'll have Dylan and Kevin.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
And actually, I secretly sang tenor in Deep River, so I don't know if I can hit the G's in this one.
I thought I heard you.
Good girl. Good girl.
That's definitely the best part of teaching online is getting to see everybody's pets at home.
Yeah.
Mm.
I've had 2 experiences now though where Zuzu was throwing up right while I
Oh,
was like I had to go dark and like scream for Annie.
Yeah, that does not sound that would not be as not as charming as like a cute little cat that just like appears in your English class.
I've been using my dog Mel. She just hopped up on the couch now as kind of a motif in my lectures for microbiology because I record lectures that don't go for the full class time, and then we save our Zoom time so they can watch it asynchronously anytime they want, and then we meet synchronously during our class time for like 20 minutes, just answer questions and just dig a little deeper. But I figured, I mean, I do basically a whiteboard screen capture. And so like one time I noticed, I'm like, oh my gosh, this noise. And I realized it was Mel who was sitting next to me and was snoring. So I told my students about it. So I try to make sure that each lecture has like some sort of little dog item. And usually it's not even intentional. It just kind of happens. Like I heard her jingling and I'm like, hang on everyone, I'll be right back. I got to stop the video and let the dog out. She's pawing at the door.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Brings
So yeah, it's nice to
actual
see
humanness.
To have that kind
Nice to
of
see.
thing, like yeah, people with their pets. It's I think it's good. I think it's really
Yeah, there's a parent at the high school who we've had a couple of times when we're having faculty meetings. Her son has like just gotten home from daycare or preschool, just hanging out with her parents or something, but he's always like coming home as we're having faculty meetings and he's always like running into her office to be like, Mom, let me tell you about my day. And she's like, I am still at work. You need to hang on for 15 more minutes. Like, just everyone remain calm. It's very cute every time. It's like this little 3-year-old tearing through the screen.
I gotta say, probably more than half, probably 2/3 of my students just leave themselves muted and with the video off, because they just don't want to have to deal with, a kid needing them in the middle of something or. But most of them requested that, and from what I'm hearing, it's really a thing.
Oh yeah, I do it. A lot of us do it in meetings now. I mean, yeah, it's just a lot more convenient. I mean, I'm used to doing a lot of work by conference call. So, I can't do a Zoom call while I'm driving down the highway. I can do a conference call. Not that I did that very often, but anyway, having to be on camera is, plus you have to be dressed.
Half dressed.
That's why
At
you
least
stopped your
partial.
video, John, right? You're probably.
What? I have to take off my bathrobe and put on a shirt. I'm going to design a shirt that just goes over like this and looks like you have a real shirt on.
Well, since you're blank now, we're assuming that's what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm blank now, aren't I? No, I got a regular.
That'll be the next
Oh,
feature.
this is my new background that I
Be like a
downloaded.
virtual shirts that cover you wherever you are.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Zoom? So get on that.
It's the emperor's new clothes.
Right, right.
Well, after last night, I'm surprised there's not a Zoom filter that puts a fly on people's heads.
Oh my gosh,
It's coming, don't worry.
there will be. That was great.
I didn't even watch it last night, but this morning, as soon as I went online, I'm like, fly memes, what happened? Something's going on with flies.
Well, I was working from school today and there was a fly in my office that was like buzzing around in one of the lights. And I was like, oh man, I was like on this text thread with a bunch of other teachers and someone had made this joke about something in the debate. And I was like, oh, that fly from the debate is currently like buzzing in my fluorescent light. And my coworker texted and was like, what's it like to be near an American hero? I'm like, well, I'll ask it next when it flies out of the light and gets closer to me.
Oh, I'm completely out of it. I didn't watch it.
There was a fly just sitting on my Prince's head for like, I don't know, 20 minutes of the debate.
2 minutes and 3 seconds.
It was right there that long.
Yeah.
We had to listen on radio because we had no power. So
Oh,
Yeah, ours came on just well, we had power the whole time, but our internet went out. And it came on like 3 minutes before the debate. So my wife watched it and took notes and everything. And I just went upstairs and watched a video on my tablet.
Believe me, I did not time it. It was on a newscast.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, I didn't have power until about 11 last night and didn't have power for about 6 hours. And so I very blissfully just read by the candlelight and then went to bed at a reasonable hour and missed all of the kerfuffle and woke up to the news. And I was like, I'm going to do this for the rest of the debates. This is much better.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
This is my new
I-
plan.
yeah. I'm pretty sure my blood pressure would get high if I watched any of that
Yeah.
stuff. I can't.
Yeah.
Well, people have told me that they
Take off, everybody.
other debate.
Hi, Janice. Nice to
Bye.
meet you.
Hi, Janet.
Yeah.
I'm heading out too, guys. Have a good
Yeah.
All
week.
right, so long,
I'm gonna
Lisa.
take
You
some
too,
moments
Lisa.
too.
See ya.
All right,
See you
off
soon.
we go. Ciao. Bye.
bye, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Bye, Sherry.
Dropping like flies.
Like a party, everybody leaves at once.
I know.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
it's often first one triggers the waterfall.
Yeah.
Oh, there she is.
Oh, hello, Mel.
Ugh.
You are.
Well, I don't
Not-
have details, but I know my daughter is having a tough time at Middlebury, academic stress. And on the what we nicknamed the Middlebury helicopter parent Facebook page, there's been a lot of parental complaints about the poor academics putting a lot of work more on the students this semester because of the way the remote learning is being done. And this is not to say anything about you, Mary. It's just a comment of, I have to assume that that's part of the factor. And Mira's the beats herself up if she gets lower than a 98, percent kind of.
Okay, those students. I got a very panicked email from a student. The quiz had 72 points on it, and she got 69 out of them. And I guess she looked at that and was freaking out. She's like, I have a perfect 4.0 and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just, and they were like, I had gone onto my email and there were like 3 emails in a row from her. like, okay, never mind about the last one, blah, blah, blah. And I was looking going, she's like, I've never had this terrible of a grade in my whole life. And I guess I'm just going to fail and I'm never going to be a nurse and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, I'm not sure why an A is like considered a bad grade there. But
I know.
like,
Yeah.
did you think that the 69 was your percent? Because it was 69 out of 72 points, which is a really good grade on this exam.
Right. But yeah, no, she got an A- in one of her grades of the 4 semesters, which took her off of well, they don't really do the 4.0, but the equivalent of, and it's all bum, Mira, it's fine.
One of my favorite writers, who's a memoirist, has done a couple TED Talks about grief, and she starts one of them by, she's like introduces her, says her name, and then she's like, I'm Nora McInerney, and my college GPA was like a 3.82 or whatever. And then she goes, and I'm telling you that because everyone told me it was very important, and not once in my adult life has anyone ever asked for it. So I think about that all the time, just like how like totally essential you feel like it is, and then it turns out it doesn't matter at all for like your life.
Right.
Maybe to get into grad school, but like even that oftentimes is more about like your overall, it's like they're looking at your actual grades in the classes that are like relevant to that subject area, which in theory are the grades that are higher, because that's the thing you were good at if you're going on to grad school for it.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
But
high school students also have a lot of that panic about grades and.
Well, it's I mean, my two kids are just polar opposites. Alan, a D was good enough, it's like I passed. And Mira this got to be 100 or as close to as possible. It's like, yeah.
For my microbiology class, because lab is at home, and so we're doing lab simulations for them and the like. But we bought kits and sent the kits to their houses, and we actually got a grant so that they didn't have to pay for the kits, but we didn't know that we were going to get money for them, so we got the cheapest ones where the company actually took on the liability. Like if anyone infects themselves with the bacteria that came with the kit, the company accepts the liability. But they're really crappy kits. Like the microscopes that come with them are plastic, and it's called My First Microscope, and it's for ages 8 and up. So that will tell you something. But because I can't be there to do the labs with them, I mean, there's no way. I mean, it's an hour and a half time lab. I can't sit there with them and do all that. So I give them an overview, and like what I do in person is, they get a mini lecture up on the board. I organize their time for them and say, okay, task 1, do this. While this is incubating, go do this, that kind of thing. They have to do that now. I can help them out a little bit with them, but they have a whole lot of reading to do for lab too. And so I just kind of feel like I'm not giving them as many lab assessments because they're having to do so much more of that work on their own. You know what I mean? I can't be there checking out their lab space on a daily basis. I mean, I had them send me pictures of it, and you can make suggestions, but if they're doing it on their dining room table and then bleaching everything afterwards, that's what they're doing. So I'm so glad we're finally going to be done with this kit, but I deliberately have not given them as many assignments in lab as I would have, because they're just having to do so much more on their own.
Yeah.
But some of them aren't doing much on their own either. Like I gave them an extra week for the notebook check, just to make sure that they were up to speed and that they had actually done all the labs. Probably about 30% hadn't like done anything past the table of contents. And I'm like, okay, you're way behind. I'm worried about you.
Yeah.
And it's gonna get busier. I'm like, please take this time, and even then I was generous on the points. I'm like, okay, if you did like next to nothing, I still gave you 10 out of 20 points for that, but because it's honestly not going to make that much of a difference that way. But lecture, I feel like, oh gosh, lecture, I am like bending over backwards for this, and we're probably putting in more time than usual.
Yeah, it's so hard because we just started talking about, I have to head out soon because I have to just checking my email, and I have like several panicked student emails about something I have to go fix, but some link that's not working. But there is we're starting to think about like, okay, when we go into a hybrid setting, one of the days is going to be fully asynchronous where teachers are not live during that class day. So they have a day to prepare because it is so much more work to teach hybrid. And so we were like, we have to start practicing like creating lessons for those asynchronous times, because right now everyone's just teaching fully synchronous all the time. They're just live for 80 minutes. And unless they're, and some teachers are setting kids out to go do, you know, go into the forest and collect some leaves and watch them decompose and whatever. But it's so tricky. I feel for teachers just trying to figure out like how much time do you spend, like you don't want to be lecturing for 80 minutes, like that's not a good use of, that's not like good time on learning, but you also like need to be in class, and like all these things you would do normally if you were in a classroom setting, you can't really do in the same way. And it's just been really tricky. So especially for the lab sciences, I really feel for all of you. They did have a funny, their beginning of the year, one of their teachers for AP environmental science made them all these like cookies that have like, give them all cookies that have like preservatives in them. And they're like gonna like watch and see what happens to the cookies. And but one of the kids who is the son of a teacher at the high school, their dog immediately ate the cookie, like the bag, the cookie, the whole thing. And so the first day of class, he's like, Miss Larson, like, what do I do if my cat, or if my dog ate this cookie? And she's like, I'm gonna ask your dad if that's true. And it was in fact true.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
the
like,
danger of sending these lab kits home.
I had a student who knocked over she inoculated she rehydrated her 4 tubes of bacteria. I mean, we send them freeze-dried bacteria.
Mhm.
Well, it came with the kit. And she knocked them over and they all cross-contaminated. And she's like, what do I do? I'm like, you're going to be plating out contaminated stuff because I can't give you new cultures.
Right. You'll learn not to do that again.
Well, yeah. And so, well, what do I do for my observations? I'm like, you write down what you see.
Yeah.
That's what you do in science. I'm like, you can write down what it should look like, but you need to write down what you saw. But yeah, I mean, so many little things like, oh, I broke the plate. Like, what can you do? We can't just go to the fridge and grab some more plates or tubes for people.
Right.
Or dog cookies,
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the dog ate all these preservatives. Ew.
Yeah. It's this dog is like one of those dogs that is, he's constantly eating something he's not supposed to. There's always some story about something he's done that is like just terrible, where he like, climbed into the neighbor's backyard and like ate a pie off their window. So like, that's just like every story about this dog is some variation of just like, and then he did this other crazy thing and like ate something he wasn't supposed to, or like did whatever.
We had to take Mel up to the emergency vet in South Deerfield. You know where that is?
I know where it is. I've never been, but I know where it is.
Yeah, and they're actually really great there. And we were waiting for, and it turned out to be a very busy day. It was Labor Day one year. And somebody brought in a golden retriever that had swallowed one of those stretchy gloves.
Oh.
The entire thing. That the dog had just eaten the glove right off of their kid's hand and swallowed. So they had to they had to get it out of the dog's stomach. They induced vomiting, whatever. And so the people were waiting out in the waiting room, and they came out and they brought them the glove. It was like, I'm like, I don't want to wear that.
Like, I don't need it back. You can throw that away. That is funny. Well, I have to go answer some emails from some panicked teenagers who are concerned that this link is not working, and I'm sure I will find that there's a link right next to it that tells you what to do if the link is working. But I'm gonna go tell you where that link is.
Take care.
Nice to see you guys.
Yeah.
All
All right, I got a beret thing.
What?
How did you give yourself a beret?
Oh, I don't have that option on mine.
Yeah, David, you're on your laptop. That's probably why.
I'm on a MacBook.
Okay.
And David's on what?
I'm on a MacBook.
Oh, you are?
Yep.
Oh, so maybe I need an update?
Yeah, probably need an update.
Just like last Sunday, had a new version.
Yeah. I thought I had automatic updates to my iPad, but I guess not.
Yeah, that might not be an option on the iPad.
All right.
Oh, good. I can mess around with that with my students on.
Yeah.
Week.
You guys doing well?
Yeah, hanging in there.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
Working on
Yeah.
the
looking forward
virtual
to the long-
concert. What? Oh, go ahead.
No, I just said looking forward to the long weekend so I can catch up.
Yeah, I'm actually planning on, we'll see if it actually happens, taking tomorrow off. So I'll do 4 days.
Nice.
I need to burn up vacation because
Nice.
they're not going to let us carry it over.
Mm.
Well, not more than the usual 2 weeks because it would cost them too much, apparently, is the story we've been gotten.
That's what my son is told. He has to take, like everybody has to take, 3 days or something.
Right. So if I didn't continue trying to take a day off a week, which didn't end up happening last week, even though it was scheduled, if I just stuck with just taking holidays, I would be off from December 7th through the end of the year.
Wow.
And that's just vacation I have to use.
Yep.
That's not the 2 weeks that I can carry over.
Hmm.
Because I've been carrying, and every year I carry over usually the max, the 2 weeks. Yep. Well, I just didn't,
Oh.
except for that trip to Florida where Shari and Alan were at each other's throats. I didn't take any vacation this year because where do I go? I take that back. I took the day off to drive Mira up to Middlebury. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we're saving a lot of money by not taking vacations.
right.
Yeah. Next
All right.
year.
Yeah, next
All
year.
right.
That sounds like a good idea. If Mira does go to Sweden, which at this point it's still on for spring semester,
Wow.
if it's feasible, I would really like to spend some time in Europe, including visiting her there.
Yeah.
I've never been.
American passports don't mean much right now, though.
True, I couldn't go as it stands now. Who knows if we get a new president and administration, et cetera. Hopefully a new Senate as well. But yeah, Mira as a student can still go even with current roles.
Yeah.
Is she a senior?
I'm sorry?
Is Mira a senior?
No, Mira is, it's hard to define. She's technically, this is her second semester sophomore because she's what Middlebury calls a Feb. They come in February, doing a gap semester in the fall at the very beginning, and then they come in then are treated as upperclassmen, even though they're their first semester. It's an honor thing. So she's never been in a freshman dorm, which is great. And even though this, like I said, officially this is her second semester of sophomore year, she's in a junior dorm. So it's kind of cool in that respect, but it's off,
Right.
But then it's the same case though for the other, it's about 100 students per year that are admitted as Febs, because that's about how many juniors take off the spring semester to go abroad. And they usually just take their dorms.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the Sweden thing is not a Middlebury program. It's a Swedish program in Stockholm, and but she's been planning on this. I don't know how long, nearly a year. Of course, she was planning on being in China this semester, but yeah.
Wow.
She's an ambitious one, as well as the high standards for herself one, and therefore self-imposed stress.
That's funny that usually the oldest child has. I'm an oldest child, and Mary's an oldest child, and it's usually the younger child that kind of skates by.
That is true with my brothers. My younger brother. Well, no, I'm actually, my older brother too was kind of a goof off. I was I wouldn't say, I'm nowhere near as high grades as Mira, but I did better than my brothers. But yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, but I think Alan is just Alan.
Hmm.
You also
David,
got
your brother isn't exactly a slacker, David.
No, that's true.
to.
But well, compared to me, he is.
um,
He's not as type A as I am.
He got a, what, no, he's not type A, but I mean, got a PhD in chemistry. I mean,
yeah, that takes some. Definitely takes some. Yeah, no, I mean, Alan got a bad start at Hadley. So it wasn't until 5th grade that we got him switched to Bement, and he was pretty far behind. So whereas Mira started at Bement in 2nd grade, so kindergarten and 1st grade, though it was very boring for her, she wasn't behind or anything. Yeah, I do not recommend Hadley school systems, by the way, in case you didn't figure that out. Not that you have to worry about it.
David, you're still recording, by the way.
Oops.
I guess I should turn that off.